Title: The Woman Who Met Her Future Husband in a Childhood Photo. On a warm spring afternoon in Chengdu, a woman named Liu Mei flipped through an old family album, something she hadn't touched in years, when a single photograph stopped her breath cold. A tourist snapshot from 1980, but it wasn't the smiling 6-year-old version of herself that startled her. It was the boy standing just a few meters behind her, frozen mid-stride, caught in the corner of the frame. A boy she knew, a boy she had married, but back then, they had never met. The realization struck like a soft, impossible thunder, and as she called for her husband, Jiang Wei, she felt a strange mixture of excitement and dread, because deep down, she already knew what she was about to prove. When Wei walked in, she held the album open, her finger trembling over the tiny figure in the background. "Look closely," she whispered. He leaned in, squinted, and then his face drained of color. "That's me?" he breathed. Suddenly, the room felt smaller. Time felt thinner, and the simple photograph that had lived quietly in her family home for decades now pulsed with an invisible thread neither of them knew had existed. They sat down together, the album between them like a portal. The image showed a bustling tourist spot in Chengdu. Children running, vendors calling out, cherry blossoms drifting like soft pink snow. Mei stood with her mother, clutching a balloon. And a few steps behind, little Wei wandered with his father, looking off to the side as if something had just caught his curiosity, as if he were on the verge of noticing her. They tried to laugh it off at first. Just a wild coincidence, they said. But the longer they stared, the more impossible it felt to ignore. They had grown up in different districts, gone to different schools, lived separate childhoods. Their first official meeting didn't happen until adulthood, years later in a completely different city. Yet here, in a forgotten snapshot from long before they understood love, fate had placed them in the same place, at the same moment, with only a few meters of childhood innocence between them. As the evening deepened and the sun dipped below the buildings of modern Chengdu, they sat quietly, shoulders touching, that small photograph glowing softly under the lamp. And in that silence, they understood something neither could deny. Sometimes life doesn't begin the moment you think it does. Sometimes the story starts long before you're old enough to read it. And sometimes fate leaves breadcrumbs in the places where you once stood without knowing why. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.